love themselves. They've never really had like a foundation.
Welcome to the season premiere of Love Healing, the podcast. I can't believe it's already been 3 seasons. So even though there's only 8 episodes per season, it seems like I just started this yesterday. I am so excited about today's show, as I am about every show. But this one, I get to talk to a friend of mine who's been my friend or in my life for over 20 years. I know that seems kind of impossible because I don't look like I should have a friend for over 20 years, but I do, and I'm grateful for him, and I'm grateful for his presence and for the knowledge that he has and his passion and curation. It's been quite a journey from our high school days to now. But before we get into that, let's dive right in. Season 3, here we go. What is community? So let's define it. Community is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Wikipedia says that a community is a social unit with commonalities such as norms, religion, values, customs, or identity. Whoa. Communities may share a sense of place situated in a given geographical area or in virtual space through communication platforms. And I love that they have added this virtual part because in as much as we may not enjoy it right now because it's been all of 2020, everybody is forced to go online and have all these Zooms and do all these things. I would also argue that we've had time to connect with people that we may not normally have done so. We made time for things and for people and to get to know people, and being able to see them face to face online and create that sense of community has pretty much kept me sane, and I know some of my friends and yoga teachers as well. Let's see, how to find your tribe or community or group or friends or people of like-mindedness, okay? Feeling accepted, feeling understood, feeling at home. When we talk about finding our tribe, it's this important sense of belonging that makes the task such an important one for so many of us. While there's no way of magically summoning these types of friendships into our life, there are things that we can do to encourage them. So I've got about 6 tips here, and as always, the article will be available after, or in the link in the bio, all that stuff. So feel free to read a little bit further. But so the 6 tips are: be open to change. And that just means it's a part of life, right? That we will outgrow both experiences and people along the way. And that's okay. Because if we continue to be our authentic selves, we're going to grow, we're going to learn, we're going to expand. And everyone is not going to do that at the same pace, right? Or even in the same way. So it's okay if your friendships don't look the same today as they did 20 years ago. But also being able to make space to allow new people in is important as well. Just to kind of fuel what you have going on in the moment. And then maybe you all can grow and expand and learn and all those things together. Number 2, be what you hope to attract. So like attracts like. And so one of the best ways to call like-minded people into your life is by being unashamedly and transparently yourself. So I am one of the biggest proponents of that. Showing up as your authentic and best self as often as you possibly can, and I would really actually say always would be ideal. But being who you are, you'll be able to attract more of those people who are not even like-minded. I don't really like that, but definitely on the same wavelength, right? Have the same type of energy. So if you're walking around with negative energy or a negative outlook, or you're sad or you're upset and you're frustrated and you're disappointed, you're going to tend to draw more of that to you. And that's not even who you really are, because you just are you. Those are feelings and emotions. But if you can tap into like who you are and what you want in your life, then you can attract more of that. Number 3, be discerning. So be open to meeting new and interesting types of people while holding back judgment. But remember, you're in no way obligated. So I just finished reading The Fifth Agreement, and I think the 5th one is be skeptical, right? So be open to hearing and learning and, hearing people's stories, but be skeptical. Have a bit of pause to where you're truly listening and paying attention. That's where the true connections can be made and kept. Number 4, resourceful. Be resourceful. Shared interests are a great foundation for friendships. So consider joining groups, clubs, or organizations where you are more likely to meet like-minded people or similar energied people. Number 5, be bold. Make the effort to connect again with people who you get a good feeling about. Suggest lunch, invite them to your yoga class, wink, wink. Don't be shy to connect if they interest you. And also, don't take it personally if they don't feel the same way and don't want to connect. That's not your person. That's not your tribe. That's not going to be the addition to the community for you. That's okay. Number 6, be patient. Real friendships take genuine time to build. And if you haven't found your tribe by now, it doesn't mean that you won't find them. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 100s, right? If you're in the centennial group, it doesn't matter. You can still find a tribe or community or group of people to share your gifts with, your gifts, your talents, your passion, and give more of what you like, and then you will get more of what you like. Just knowing that you don't have to be necessarily tied to the space that you live in as a community, but you can build your community online, whatever it looks like for you. It doesn't have to be divisive, and it doesn't have to be all-inclusive. So you just figure out what your community is to you, and then be a contributing part of it. Now we get to go into a little bit about our guest. So Mr. Keith A. Lewis Jr., he is an author, he is a philanthropist, he is a marketer, he's a brander, he's an out-of-the-box thinker, he is a survivor, and he is just a super great, awesome guy. He has this program, well, one of many, but right now he's really focusing on Rebrand the Man. So let's see. The goal of I'm a Father First is to rebrand the man in every way. Our vision is simple. Get more men in the homes with their children. In our society, it's far too commonplace to see single-parent households, absentee, incarcerated, or even deceased fathers. We must change the narrative. We want to create a new vision for the role of our fathers in Atlanta today. And I will even say it's beyond Atlanta, but he certainly resonates with his community. Being a native of Atlanta, he's very active in this community. Just a little bit about him before we get to meet and talk to him. Driven by his lifelong passion to serve, Keith is dedicated to partnering with communities and brands across the globe to define and deliver the just and balanced reality we all deserve. His unique mix of experience, includes high-level marketing as well as hands-on mentorship and job creation for families across Atlanta. Keith's philanthropic work was nominated for the 2019 Rising in Community Excellence, or RICE Award, which is awarded to individuals and organizations that demonstrate significant contributions to their communities and act to improve lives around them through impactful movements. That was a lot, but that is exactly what he does. I'm a Father First also received a proclamation by the mayor and city council as a nonprofit organization that performs extraordinary acts of service and of high importance to benefit the overall society of South Fulton. A little quote from him that I think really sums up, who he is and how he is, just, a little snippet. He says, "I'm working to make a better world by helping our brothers and sons become better men. The only way to make a better world is to improve ourselves." And I would say that is exactly right. It all starts within. It all starts from the self, from the man or woman in the mirror. So without further ado, I cannot wait. Let's talk to Mr. Keith A. Lewis Jr., founder of I'm a Father First, Rebrand the Man, The New Norm, Corner Boys, and Meals of Love that delivered over 200,000 meals for free to families in need and impacted by COVID-19 last year. My friend, here we go. Hi, Keith.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me here today.
Okay, so I'm so excited to have
One, too.
Keith here with us. And he will probably do that many times over. But it's one of the things that I love about him and why I wanted him here. So on Love Healing, as you guys know, or if you're new, welcome to the show. We talk about all things love and how to heal and how to bring some healing with love to our community. So today on What is Community, we are talking to someone I feel is definitely big in the efforts of getting meals and the words out to fathers and mothers to come together and really support each other. So I think the first thing that we always start with is, who is Keith Lewis?
Well, thank you again for having me. I'm so excited to be the first guest of season 3. All right, so that's awesome. So it is Keith A. Lewis Jr. And the reason I use the A in Jr. is because growing up, grew up here in Atlanta, as you know, being high school classmates, well, in the school at the same time, 2 years older than you. But growing up in Atlanta, for one, I just love our community. Like I was just telling you when you were stretching me, our school put out some incredible people.
Yeah.
And so when you say who is Keith, I say I am the city of Atlanta. You know what I mean? When I go places, people always laugh at my accent. They love it. But they say, man, it's so funny. How can I talk like that? I say you can't unless you're from here. Because we know how to switch it up. We know how to speak articulate. We know how to, do the things that we need to do. But Atlanta just kind of groomed me to be a very unique individual. From fashion to music to art I'm getting into now. I'm excited about art. My next book is going to be a cover of artistic drawings. But I've just been learning to evolve over these 40 years being in the city of Atlanta. So I say I'm a Atlanta bred, Atlanta fed, very passionate person about changing the narrative of men here, but also actually helping men like myself get better in their process of understanding who they are so they can really answer that question with an authentic answer, as you say.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So
I know I said a lot.
You said a lot.
That's my whole spiel.
But it's so pertinent because it's exactly who you are. You're always genuine. You're always you, no matter what. We've known each other. I think you just said 25 years.
Yep.
Totally impossible because I'm only 25 years old.
Right. Met you from the womb. I met her at the hospital. She was a great gal. But yeah, we met in 96. So yeah, it's our 25-year anniversary.
Okay.
So this is a quarter century that we've known each other. Imagine how many people we know that didn't make it out of high school, that didn't make it to 30. And to think that we've had 25 years of friendship, meaning you know the person, not just, you know, when you say, man, I know him because you went to school with him or your mother or someone may remind you, but literally knowing each other and seeing those same eyes and seeing those cheeks. And, you know, it's just been an incredible journey. So what questions you got for me?
As a father, let's talk about I'm a Father First.
Yes.
Because that is one of the organizations, one of many that he's spearheading and a part of and involved in and all the things, right? Can you tell us, how did I'm a Father First come about?
Definitely, I say from my pain, you know, me being a young man, as you know, I've always been flirtatious. I've always been outgoing. I don't meet a stranger. So when I got married, I was like 25. And my ex-wife would tell you now, she'd be like, I was not ready for it. And I'd be like, well, why you didn't say something? Same way people let me talk in conversations. They just let me go.
Yeah.
So from a conversation to marriage, you know, sometimes I just kind of take the lead on stuff. And being young and not having those tools, man, that's what fuels me right now. Because I don't really believe that I was wrong or she was wrong. I believe it was just the wrong timing. You know, I believe that if we had certain tools, you know, if we had certain resources, man, we wouldn't have ended up divorced and I wouldn't have had to drive 5 hours to and from, you know, so the movement came from those drives, those 10-hour drives where sometimes if I was dating someone, they would ride or my mom would ride, my brother may have rode a few times, but for the most part, that was my time to think to myself. And, you know, when you're on the road 10 hours, and you really don't have any money, so it's not like you're doing this with extras. You're doing this with what you need to live, and then you have to make sure you're providing that right atmosphere for the children when they come.
Right.
So there was times I didn't have my own home, as you know. There was times I didn't have a car. I mean, the entrepreneurship struggle took me through every piece or emotion, you know what I'm saying, of getting to where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like every, what they say, ladder or every link on the chain, it was preordained and predestined. But when I was going through it, man, you couldn't have told me that. But I always stayed hopeful. So one time going down, me and my ex got into it. And it was an unfortunate situation, you know, where emotions escalated and her uncle had to remove me from the property with his gun. You know, he's like, you gotta go. So on the ride home, you know, I was so frustrated. I was crying and stuff, but I was calm. I might not even been crying, to be honest. Because, you know, when you get too numb, you just like, I can't believe this just happened. So I'm riding home, and I was on Facebook Live, and I was like, so, this just happened. I'm going to Mississippi, and da-da-da-da-da, and the gun was pulled out on me. What do you do? So everybody who knows me is like, Keith, take that down. You know, you don't talk about your personal stuff on Facebook Live. And I say, ain't nobody seeing it, but people that know me anyway. I've always been a popular person. So I never think that my network is as big as somebody else think it is. Just like a celebrity never thinks they're a celebrity, unless they're super vain. But, you know, for me, the movement came from that trip. It came from that trip in 2013. And then for the next few years, I went into sports marketing, you remember, and I was working with athletes. So that's why I learned how to market and brand at this level that now has sponsors coming. Yeah. But it was at a time when I was like, I got to do this sports because I need to know how to make some money for my family.
Yeah. So you were always a father first.
Yeah, it was always a father first. And then, you know, to make sure I answered the question of where it came from after that incident and after doing sports for 3 years, I said, man, I got to focus on me. And I was back in the same space I am now. You know, in 2021, I'm geared up for what I'm doing for my family. Yeah. But at 2017, after working with Ezekiel Elliott, and I thought I was here in the sports world. You know, I thought you sign the top running back in the draft, it's anything. You can go from Camilton all the way to Chicago. Yeah. But after that situation, I said, I want to focus on my family. And I started I'm a Father First, and the organization grew from selling, I don't have it on now, but selling the t-shirts to now just a nationwide movement of brothers, black men that want to see us changing the narrative of what the family looks like.
Yeah. So not this narrative of fathers are not around. Because you don't have to be married to be a co-parent.
No.
But I think it's so important that we learn how to co-parent.
Yes. Yeah. So from a woman's standpoint, what do you feel is kind of missing there? Not even speaking from your personal, but what do you feel is the disconnect? Why we have so many baby mothers, as we don't want to call it, but it is what it is. Why does our community end up being just a dumping ground for children where they have to find who their leadership is, you know?
I think we lost a little bit after Dr. King and Malcolm X. Like we got a little lost, and we integrated and we assimilated and we
appropriated.
Yes, and we were intimidated, and it was like so many other things. And that's after the years and years of slavery and Jim Crow and all the other stuff. So we just were lost. And we didn't really know how to have a family. So I think that we have started to realize how important to have the balance of masculine and feminine is. Yeah. Even if you're not in the home, I think, well, I'll say for myself, we're starting to see that if we're not working together for the children, it's going to be them that suffers. Yeah. And we're just going to be in our emotions and trying to pick up their pieces when we never should have broken them in the first place. Right.
Yeah. My son told me, my son is 15, and he told me something this summer or maybe this fall. And he said, Dad, his voice getting deeper now. He said, Dad, it just seems like if you need something from mama, us being able to be with you, you'll do whatever she wants. And you just have to be quiet. And that just didn't sit well with me. That's minimalizing me as a man, and it made me realize how misguided he is in my perception of how he should be thinking. Because I don't think it should be anyone should comply by any means. I just think it's when there's an obvious line of disrespect that's constantly being crossed, I don't think you have to point out the person, but you have to be mature, like you said. Somebody has to. So maybe the other side to that statement was, I just have to realize that one of us is going to have to take that high road. Yeah. So I guess that's the other perspective. But as a man, when we're already kind of minimalized in this country from all this, we protest and stuff about George Floyd. Dave Chappelle even did a comedy skit for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. My buddy Skills up in Virginia did a rap song, and it was so long. And he was like, same amount of time you listen to this, it's the same amount of time that he was on George Floyd's neck. Wow. So it was like, when you think about the context of seconds and minutes and days and thoughts and things, it's like so many layers of why is the family like this? Why does the man even feel like this? Why does the woman feel like this? But it's like I was telling one of my white counterparts today who worked with me with the Kelly Loeffler situation. She said, I just wish we could meet in the middle somewhere. Because she said it's going to come down to who has the most money.
Oh, wow.
And I said,
that's a perspective.
I said, and that's the perspective that we have a problem with from you guys. Because this is, a country built for whites, honestly. You know what I mean? I know that's controversial in some spaces, but it doesn't matter because we're living in a Western civilization. Right. It was never designed for us to lead it. It was designed for us to build it and then never own it. So that's why it's such resistance towards that. Ownership is so important. Like for me, when people say, who published your book? I get to look at my name. And it don't matter if it only sells 1,000 or 10,000. I would rather it sell 1,000 under my hard work that I own the property than 10,000 where someone gave me money and they just said you're an employee now for your vision. So I don't want to go too far, man. But I know I've been a big interview.
That's awesome. That's one of those examples that you are setting for your son. So no matter where he is now in his thinking as he matures, and I think I'm saying this also for myself because I'm thinking about Daniel, and sometimes I'm just like, what? I just want to wring your neck. You are not thinking. But also he's 12. Yeah. If we just continue to display everything that we're trying to teach them,
it will all work out. Yeah, I made a post on Facebook last night when I was sitting there, because right now I'm single for the first time in my life, right? I think literally for the first time ever. And by that I mean if I didn't live with my brother, live with my wife, live with who I was dating, or live with my parents. Yeah. Or my children alone. This is my first time totally being, able to look up on every area of the house and be like, it's just me. Mm-hmm. So it's been a blessing because now it's like I said on my post last night, it's like if we focus on being the best person, because women have told me this for years. If you focus on being your best you're gonna always attract, what's
Yes.
set for you. So I've been intentional about, like you said, just setting that example for my children. My daughter is 17, and I just showed you her makeup stuff, and it's such
She's
a
super
beautiful.
talented.
She's so dope, and she's me. So through this time of my rise, I'm in my center of picture. I didn't even want to send her my photo shoot picture today because the last time she told me, because she's, hurt from our separation.
Yeah.
She said, "You sure doing a lot of shoots." Shout out to my daughter, Samaya Lewis. Samaya is...
Yes, Samaya, come do my makeup. I need you.
please.
She's awesome.
She is awesome. And her mother is so talented. So when I think of Samaya, I was just looking at the video that I was telling you about we did with Kasim Reed, and he said the more he learns from his daughter, the more he learns about his ex-wife.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, everybody at the table said, Like, it was one of them jewels, you know what I'm saying? And I said, man, that's so true, because if I sit back and talk to my daughter, I mean, she looks like my ex-wife. And at this age now, it's so freaking scary, because I met my ex-wife when she was 19.
Mm-hmm.
So Samaya is 17. So it's like, that was her, except in a whole different environment.
Yeah.
So that's why my focus is so intentional, because that same little girl that can be in the 11th grade at her school can be 19 in the strip club.
Right.
That same 17-year-old boy that's at Westlake can be 19 getting shot like me.
Right.
So if nobody steps in, like you spoke about the leaders, man, it's like my grandmama always tell me, she say, "Andre, boy, if you don't step up and be who you're supposed to be," she said, "we miss leaders." And my grandmother is 86 now, right? She's not even my maternal. She's who raised me. My real grandmothers are both deceased. Mm-hmm. So she's the only one I've ever known. And she tells me, you have to stand up, and that stands for all of us, and be who you are. Whether you're a Stacey Abrams, whether you're a Tiffany Basket, whether you're a Keith Lewis, you have to learn your identity, which is what I'm learning from you, what I'm constantly embracing from you, honestly. Learning how to be authentically me. Because a lot of times you can be bringing a representation of yourself, and that's still so far from who your core really wants you to, project to the universe. Mm-hmm. So I'm just learning how to be grateful for who I am, how to lead my family first, not just father first. So that's something that I'm focused on this year, being family first, not just father first.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because you also have infused, is it 100 single mothers?
Yes, there were 1,000 single
1,000 single mothers. And so now you guys have partnered. And
Crystal Wilkinson. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm a mother first.
I'm a mother first. And I'm excited because, of course, my strong, beautiful black queen has from the beginning said, when are you going to have I'm a mother first? Mm-hmm. So we sold the merch. We sold the shirts. The shirts have been around. But now I finally found someone that I was not in a relationship with.
Yeah.
That was mandatory for me. Someone that I respected, because I watched her grind with the TLC products. Mm-hmm. And I see her every day. Crystal is the type of person, if you follow, you feel lazy, because you're going to see her at 5:30 in the morning on a trampoline workout, 8 o'clock meditate, 11 o'clock promoting her teas and stuff all day long. And then now she's infused her daughter. Her daughter's teaching people how to TikTok.
Oh,
so
nice.
I told her that's a business.
It is.
Because we just did a challenge for the YMCA last week. I'm on the board at the YMCA in Buckhead.
Yeah.
And no one knew how to do it, including me. So I
don't even know how to do TikTok. I think I don't have the bandwidth for another social media platform.
Oh, yeah. Because on the way down here, I guess because I knew I was coming to get healed, my neck, because just from looking at the social media, and I was like, man, put it down. And because I'm in such a detox right now where I don't really talk to anyone, social media is my own lifestyle right now. So it's hard because I'm in such a place where I don't want to absorb it. Mm-hmm. So I'm unfollowing so many people. I'm watching, of course, what's coming up in my Explore, because they put these algorithms to put whatever the zeitgeist has going on for you. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Whatever you're trying to get out of your life, that's what's going to pop up in your Explore, because it's just, it's just the free will of everything. So I've just been like really purging myself from social media, but the TikToks, what else did we have? We had a whole social media team this summer, man. It was crazy.
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat,
everything, LinkedIn.
Oh my goodness.
Newsletters, data capture, and it's been a lot trying to learn how to automate this whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I know that it's the wave of the future. And I know we must teach our children how to. It's funny because our parents were taught to go to college, get married, have a family, work 1 or 2 jobs. My mother worked 2 jobs my whole life.
Yeah.
She worked 35 years at one company or in 25 another, whatever. Like she got 40 years of work history, 45 years. And that's not happening in today's society.
No.
So it's like for us, we're now taught to grow up, find your passion, whatever that is, explore the world, then come back and it all work out. So we have to merge all that,
I agree. So I want to talk about this summer since you just brought it up.
Yeah, I jumped ahead of you again.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. We're on the same wavelength as we typically usually are.
Yes,
so
indeed.
That's perfect. I want to talk about meals of love. And I want to talk about meals of love because when you first told me you wanted to go and give food away to families, I was like, who's paying for this? You're totally crazy. Like, how are you going to do this? Who are these people? How are you going to find them? I had more questions than action, and you had the action.
Yeah.
So tell us about Meals of Love.
Man, that was incredible because the backdrop of that is I was just telling a brother the story this morning. I remember I was driving to Houston with my ex to drop her son off because it was a pandemic. We didn't know what was going to happen. This was literally the first week when the school had took a break on that Tuesday. So this is maybe that Friday. We're literally thinking this is a 1 or 2 week type of situation.
Right, 2 weeks.
We're but we did drive to Houston, and I remember looking at my Cash App, and I had $48 on it. No personal bank account. No, I had my business bank account, but wasn't no money in the account.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking to myself, Keith, you're about to be 40 years old. You have your 3 children because they all live with me last year. Well, my youngest boy lives with his mother, but I split half the week. So normally I'm 3 children strong.
Yeah.
At my parents' house at 39 with all this in me. It's out now, but this has been in me. So I'm literally pep talking the mess out of myself. Like, everything's going to be all right. You know what I mean? I'm trying to manifest to myself. It's going to be okay. So I remember I'm riding to Houston right when we was getting in Houston. Me and my ex got into an argument. But that stuff stems from frustration.
Right.
Like when you got some money, you got some options, that economic oppression isn't there, you laugh off a lot of stuff that may be a lot more serious when you're stretched out. So I remember going to Houston and we argued. It was crazy. And then coming back, our old classmate, Frederica, made the post. She said, anybody have families they want to help that's in need for the pandemic? I got food. I don't want to go bad, So shout out to Simply Amazing Catering. So Frederica made it, but she tagged me. So I was like, yeah, I got somebody. I'm just always down to help on anything and to help somebody. So I called my principals in APS and I said, hey, do y'all have families? They all got me a couple families. I ain't know how many was going to be in it.
Yeah.
I ain't know where they was at. I ain't know nothing. But I called them. I didn't even tell my co-founder, Jermaine, about what I was doing. So I remember the next day, I woke up, went and picked up the food from Frederica, and then I drove to the west side, because Frederica stays this way, South Fulton. Drove to the west side in my little Lexus, and then pulled up off Bankhead and started feeding the families. And I was like, man, this thing feel good, to know that a pandemic, we didn't know what that was about, you know what I'm saying? But to just know a worldwide shift was happening, to see the smiles on those people's faces, that was what was more important for me. And then after the first couple of days, cause she was collecting the cash outs from whatever, because I wasn't studying it at all like that. And you know me, normally I'm usually, you gonna donate, trying to raise. I'm crowdfunding, as we now call it. In our day, they call it just begging or something. So I was crowdfunding now. So I was crowdfunding, guys. And I remember she told me, but normally I'm the one who does that, is my point. But she was handling it. So it just gave me a testimony that when you let things flow, man, it's so out of your control of when your moment is going to happen. And I remember she said, well, Key, bro, we raised like $1,700 because she cashed out me $400. And I was like, what's this? Because, I only working 9 to 5 in 20 years. So one-time check for $400 that I didn't do branding for, that I didn't do consulting for, that was literally from some help stuff. I was like, I appreciate it. So, because I knew it meant she had met the need. Yeah. And she gave me the extras. So I was humble. Because there's something about when you got to raise it, create it, conceptualize it, find the families, help the family. you ain't no longer in the mix of it. So
Right.
you're not even feeling the humility of the operation that you've created with God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're only thinking about the function. So that was a lesson for me
That's
too.
a good point.
Step back out of the middle of it and allow others to help. And when others help, that's when what I was doing grew. So we did the first families, and then we ended up doing maybe 4 or 5 families.
Nice.
And like maybe 4 to 6 people in each household. So maybe we had did 20 to 30 meals each day. She did it like 2 or 3 days. And we was like, dang, man, this is admirable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we just like, thank you, Frederica. She didn't know the families. And then now people hitting us on social media. So Frederica meet people around here. Like, she deserves so much. You know, and I know God constantly blesses her because her business is already profitable. She's a caterer.
Okay.
She's hired me as a barback. She can attest to me not having any money in the community because I worked with her at an event that she was catering before. So I remember next thing you know, we started helping these families, and then we started getting donations. We got the first one from APS was $25,000, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The superintendent told us to stop at first. She said, Keith, you know, oh, they got to watch the documentary. And I got a documentary.
Okay,
I got to do like that.
Save that part.
So that part.
But can you tell us how many meals you ended up, and this is still going, like what's happening? So you did over 200,000 meals, right?
Yeah, it was about 250,000 meals, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because even when I cook at home, as I stated, I'm single, it take me 45 minutes to cook for myself. Because, you know, me, I'm on the phone, I'm doing this, I'm like, oh. So I think about Chef Dash, our chef, and his beautiful wife, Crystal Dash. They showed me what love looks like.
Oh.
Because they gonna make me cry. Because they are serving in an apartment off Camilton Road.
Yeah.
And he never complained. You know, this summer I had so many requests.
Yeah.
Because I solicited myself as help. Hey, I can help you. Some of my community leaders, they say, oh, use MC Hammer this summer. Because to me,
or Oprah, you get a call.
Man, you get a call. Because I literally felt like if I just help these people, maybe they'll listen. Mm-hmm. Because I already knew I had this book in me. I knew I had this curriculum in me. I knew I had my leadership abilities in me. I'm not a one-hit wonder, you know what I mean? Yeah. I literally walk around the house singing Dre like, you only as hot as your last hit. And I'm like, so now Rebrand the Man is next, so we'll talk about that. But the Meals of Love ended up feeding over 250,000 meals, and it's not funded right now, so it's not going. But we do, like, we stopped our funding ended October 16th, so we did an extra week out of our pocket through the 23rd. Then for Thanksgiving, Dallas Austin, Atlanta legend, he was connecting me. That's why I said I love Atlanta. My partner, Jason Wise from Maze, he connected me. He said, Keith, man, you've been doing the thing. I want to help you. So I thank Jason because he was the type of love I needed from people that literally like you was like, I don't want anything from you. You know what I mean? I just want to see you keep doing you. Yeah. So people like Jason Wise, Dallas Austin came in and he brought Lil Durk in, which was cool because Durk had just lost his good friend King Von a few weeks prior. So to see this young man, Durk, who's one of the hottest rappers, you know, by industry standards or whatever, and then to see Dallas Austin, who I was just watching an interview on him yesterday. I mean, this guy produced for Michael Jackson, Prince, you know what I mean? Like,
he's definitely a legend.
He's ridiculously a legend. I mean, Dallas is 48 and he's been a millionaire, you know, in or out since 18. You know, all my people with money know what in or out means. Because, you know, but his life has been dedicated to helping the young people. So when he met us, he was like, yo, he saw the vans pull up because, you know, now we got the Ford vans and stuff. Ford awarded us Nonprofit of the Year. And it was just crazy. My son got a Disney commercial, so he has a Meals of Love. So, I mean, like, from my funder who gave the $1 million being the CEO of the stock exchange, and it was, you know, by way of his wife or whatever. But to see that type of help come from an honest seed of just, let me help y'all families. We raised $1,700, and I told the man who gave us $1 million. I didn't cap, as people say. He said, Keith, how much does it take to do this? And I said, well, I don't know. We raised $1,700. If you can help. And we did a proposal for $1 million, and he funded it. And within the first 48 hours, he sent the $200,000. And for me, as a person who had never raised more than $10,000, and I've been serving since I came home from prison in 2005. Yeah. So this 15 years of service, and to see that money is changing every week, to see that type of money coming in, and we ended up hiring over 28 people. We gave away scholarships. You know, it was so incredible. Now me and my partner can sit back and laugh on it as far as just, damn, that was crazy. Because, you know, you wouldn't even believe it unless you had seen it.
Right.
Like, you would not believe it. And I just am so in awe of what can happen when one believes.
Yeah.
Because belief is that seed, you know?
It is.
Your
I
turn.
believe that. I believe that. And I believe in you. And I'm going to always support you no matter what. So I want to end or close by talking about the new norm.
Yeah, my first book. I'm so excited. This is over 10 years of hard work in these 117 pages. And on the next book, I get to smile because I was able to get some teeth in there. Right. So don't ever be afraid of where you started at is my point. Because people tell me so often, you're so transparent. You know, the new norm, the desensitization of the black family. First of all, the same way Superintendent Karstoffen told me to stop feeding, you know, people are going to die because she didn't know about the spread of COVID. Yeah. It's the same way people try to tell me to change the word desensitization. And I said, desensitization, desensitization, desensitization. Yeah. We are desensitized. Right. Which means we see people get murdered in front of us. And you always hear somebody in our community say, somebody even recorded it. And now I'm the one say, duh. Because people will pick up their phone and record before they help. Yeah, that's true. Because we're desensitized. You'll see a child rapping like he's Future at 2. And instead of, you know, correcting, not even condemning, but correcting that action, we cheer it on. And then now you see the single mothers who dress their kids up like the type of man they wish they were dating. He has on Louis shoes, Gucci shoes. What is a 4-year-old boy going to do with that? Right, he's going to grow out of it in 1 second. And it's not even going to matter. And you funneled someone else's economy. Yeah. Someone that doesn't give back into you. So the book is about how we're desensitized. It starts with a letter to my son from my dad that I thought was so incredible. And it just talks about the different values. You know, what color are you? You know, I'm a little bit of gold. Likes order, but I'm not all the way responsible, but I am accountable. Yeah, go look at those colors. Because I think, is purple in here? I guess I'm going to just... no, it's only orange, but we could add colors because we creators. Okay. Yeah, green, blue, orange, and gold. So these were some things that came from some studies that were out that I did as I was writing this book. And like me, I'm orange. Spontaneous problem solver, enjoys variety and challenges, and action-oriented, takes risks. I'm completely orange, guys. But I have other characteristics, you know. I think I'm blue. Yeah. Caring, compassionate, enjoys peace, always thinking about others, loves physical contact, loves being I did talk about see about that physical contact. So yeah, I think those are the types of jewels that are in this book. Man, for me to have finally gotten this out, and you know, thank you to Karen Simmons, Cheryl Merritt, they helped me write this book. I mean, to even hear the excitement of the people around me who helped, the chef who I was just mentioning you, they read this book, and this brother texted me the other day, and he said, "Hey King, I just want to let you know I'm reading the book," and he was like, "It's so incredible." He was like, "Man, I'm so glad I met you," and blah blah blah. And I get at least a couple of those messages a week. You know, I ain't to the point of messages a day yet, but we get a couple a week from people I don't know. You know what I mean? Who are telling me they're praying for me, they're covering me, and they're this and that and that. And it just lets me know that, you know, like these lights, you know, the light is on me, the light is on we, and we must be accountable. You know what I mean? Because there's people watching. So the desensitization, that's why they try to get me to change it. It's imperative that we get back in touch with our feelings and our healing. You know, we must experience self-love. Self-love has been the most important piece for me and the men that I'm helping men, because men just on our end, they feel so out of touch with their feelings. And then with the homophobia, they don't want to speak on it because they feel like that will make them weak or vulnerable. So there are so many things and elements that comes when you let fear creep in, when you don't let yourself flow. So we're just, I guess, like, well, I'm attracted to what you do here. You know, the more free-flowing a person is, the more they'll just move in life. Even though it's raining, I was coming out here, I said, this is the most beautiful day. Because that's how I feel anytime I come see you. Oh, because I love you. I love you too. I appreciate you for what you do for us, though. Everything that you do is from your heart. And if you don't feel led to do it, you will run away from it. And those are the type of traits that you can't put a dollar sign on. So it's it's old folks saying they say your riches are stored up in heaven or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it goes, but I feel like people like us, we are eternally wealthy.
Right.
We will never be in lack. I told a lady the other day, I said, as long as I keep giving like I do, I will never want. There's not a place on earth that doesn't accept the type of credit we possess. And that's spiritual credit. We have a certain energy that walks before us.
Yeah.
When we walk in rooms, doors open. So just like this Meals of Love was funded, your fitness collective, this positive, what is this? Love healing. Meals of Love, Acts of Love, Love Healing. It's all love.
Yeah.
So I thank you for having me. I want people to get this book on my website.
Yes.
KeithALewisJR.com.
As always, I will drop all the links so you can connect with Mr. Keith A. Lewis Jr. Facebook, Instagram, his websites, book links. You will not miss any of it. And don't be afraid to support, donate. Let's get Meals of Love refunded.
Yes.
As you can tell, he's a passion-driven person. And everything that you just said about me, I guess I would just be your mirror or reflection because same. And I love you.
And touche.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for your support, and thank you for this platform. Support independent content, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that we're on. We looking at everybody else, they're not going to give you a chance. You got to take your chance. So salute for you for taking your chance, and I support you wholeheartedly.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Wow. What an amazing conversation and so much energy. He is hilarious, to say the least. But it's probably one of the reasons why we have been friends for, like he said, 25 years. Now, that doesn't mean constant connection and always talking and always whatever, but it is touching base at certain points in our lives and seeing the growth and the changes and still being able to have a mutual respect for each other, where we've been, where we've come from, and where we're going. So I am just so proud of him. And I am looking forward to continuing to build community, especially here in South Fulton. This one little corner that we have here with the Fitness Collective and True Align and so many other brilliant wellness brands, Bodies in Motion, She's Pretty Fit, Fit and Pretty Fitness, Recovery Bar. It's just all so amazing. We're doing our part. We're doing what we can to build community and give back, but also show that there is a place that we can go and we can be together and we can be safe and we can laugh and we can talk and we can joke and we can cry. Whatever that means, whatever we need, we can have it. And we most likely already do, right around the corner from where we live. I choose to be a part of the community that I opened my businesses in, because that's where I live. That's what I love. These are my people. And as Keith mentioned, he called himself the city of Atlanta. He does not stop. He really focuses on the man, the black man, the fathers, the absence of, right? The narrative of the absence, when really there is a strong presence. There are so many things to unpack there that we couldn't do it all in one show, of course. But I hope to have him back again, and I would love to hear your feedback. Because overall, whether you're a single mom, single father, married couple, no children, it doesn't matter. You always need to find a way to love yourself and then ask this question: what can I give? How can I contribute to my community? So I guess that's more than one question. But it's so important that we not only love ourselves, but give of the love that we have inside of ourselves and for ourselves as an example to others. I think if we could actually find a way to sincerely love, like the actual word love, not the convoluted, restricted, conditioned word love, but agape, unconditional, just existing, just being grateful, just loving, having that love energy, that high frequency healing energy. If we could really have that for ourselves, there would be less to argue about. There would be less to dislike about others. There would be less to compete with, because we could find something in everyone that could be a point of attraction. Something we can learn from them. Something we can give to them. We can all contribute to the collective, if that's what we choose. So don't forget to get in touch with Mr. Keith A. Lewis Jr. I'm a father first. I'm a mother first. Meals of love. And rebrand the man. Those are all so powerful, just in and of themselves and individually. Put it together and you've got a full community movement. Let's make some things happen for our good. It's time. Thanks for joining us this week on Love Healing, the podcast, brought to you by True Align Holistic Life and me, Tiffany B. Please visit our website at www.truealignlife.com and follow us on Instagram at True Align Life. Big shout outs and thank yous to our sponsors, the Fitness Collective in Atlanta, which you can also follow at Fitness Collective ATL. As always, we'd appreciate if you'd hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss any new episodes. Let us know what you want to hear about. What do you want to learn? What is your passion? How are you showing love to others and most of all, to yourself? You can leave us an anonymous note if you'd like, and we'll be happy to share your story on air. Until next time, I look forward to our vibration elevation again next week. Bye.